Hello, everyone. It's Jessica back again to talk to you today about the 5 sacrifices of being an entrepreneur or owning your own business, however you want to call it. My last video was about the 5 benefits of owning your own business. And so this one is going to be about sacrifices. Sorry I missed you last week. I was sick, didn't get a chance to upload a video, so I'm going to try to do an extra one this week. So if you are interested in becoming an entrepreneur or owning your own business, or you are the wife of someone who is interested in doing that, watch this video because I'm going to discuss 5 of the sacrifices that are likely going to affect you as an entrepreneur's wife and or entrepreneur. This video is going to discuss a little bit of both. A little bit of what you go through as the wife of an entrepreneur, but also as an entrepreneur itself. So first sacrifice is freedom. Now, in my last video, I said freedom was a benefit, which it is. However, there's another type of freedom that you have to sacrifice when you own your own business. And that is the freedom of not having to worry about certain things, right? So when you're an employee, you go in, you clock out, you come home, you, for the most part, leave work at work. You don't have to worry about things like keeping the business running, keeping machines going, keeping, if something breaks down, you don't have to worry about who's going to pay for that, or how am I going to pay for that, or, oh crap, how are we going to finish this job? So when you're a business owner, you do have to worry about that. If you are, in the middle of a big job and one of your employees quits, well, guess what? You still got to finish that job. And now you've either got to find a replacement for him, or you just have to hustle that much harder to finish that job. So that's kind of a freedom that you give up, is the freedom of not having to worry about all the day-to-day operations, all the day-to-day things that go into actually running the business and keeping it running. So if you wake up in the morning as an owner and you go to start your, business truck and it doesn't work, well, you can't just call your boss and say, hey, boss, the truck doesn't work. You need to take it to the mechanic. No, you've got to take it to the mechanic. You've got to find out how much it costs. You've got to hope you've got that money so you can get it back working. Or whatever it may be, whatever, equipment you use, computer, 3D printer, whatever equipment your business uses. So that is the first sacrifice, is the freedom of not having to worry as an employee. As an employee, you don't have to worry about those things. So number 2 would be time. And when I say time, I'm talking about time like with your family. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the wife of an entrepreneur goes through. As the wife of an entrepreneur, you have got to be prepared that your husband is going to sacrifice time away from his family. And so that means that he is not going to be at every family function. He is not going to be home by 6 p.m. every night. He's not going to be home every single weekend, every Saturday and Sunday. That's something you have to just figure out, and how to manage. Last year there was a ton of snow, and my husband literally missed every single Christmas event that we had. And that's a lot, because we have a lot of events, because my parents are divorced, so we have a bunch of different places we go to. And on Christmas Day, he literally got home at like 6:30, told me to wake the kids up, watch them open their presents, and he was so tired. He had been plowing for God knows how long. Watched them open their presents, went back to sleep for a couple hours, and then left to go plow more. So those are the kind of time sacrifices I'm talking about, where your husband or is gonna spend time away from your family, and as the husband, as the entrepreneur, you are sacrificing time away from your family, and that's something that you have to learn how to deal with. And obviously, you probably knew that going in. But if you don't know all the sacrifices, that's why I'm telling you that this is one of the big things, that could be an issue between a wife and a husband. If the wife is not completely 100% on board. So, okay, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is attention. And when I say attention, this is specifically geared toward the wives. This is talking about sacrificing attention from your husband. When you are the wife of an entrepreneur, you are going to sacrifice attention. I mean, that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The reason being is that your husband's brain is completely consumed by his business. It does not get turned off. Constantly, my husband constantly thinks about the business. And the majority, in fact, of our discussions revolve around the business. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we have, we still go on dates and things like that. But most of the time when we go on dates, we're discussing the business. There was a time where this was a problem in our marriage. It's not a problem anymore. We've figured it out. We've worked it out. But there was a time when it got to the point that I wasn't really getting any attention. That's not okay. You have to figure something out that works for both of you. But you, as a wife, also need to understand that when you own a business, if your husband owns a business, or you own it together, that is a big responsibility. And so he doesn't probably even know that he's not giving you the attention. His mind is just thinking about, how can I do this? 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 And how can I provide for my family? And how can I make sure I'm making enough money? And how can I make more money? So you have to be understanding of that. But he also needs to know that you still do need some attention. So with that, we will move on to number 4, which is sanity. Yes, you are going to sacrifice your sanity. So on this point, we're talking about, first of all, you have to be a little crazy to want to live this lifestyle. I'm not going to lie. You have to be somewhat crazy to want to be an entrepreneur and take on all the responsibility that comes with it. But if you do choose this lifestyle, as an entrepreneur, you're going to feel crazy sometimes, because there's things that are going to happen in your business that are going to drive you crazy. You are going to have things happen that you cannot control, and that are going to push you to your breaking point, and where you're probably going to be at the point of, why am I even here? Why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? And that's when us as wives need to lift those husbands up and remind them why they're doing it, why they started it. Help them focus on what they need to focus on, because it can be very overwhelming, and it really can push them to the breaking point. I mean, when you're in the middle of a snowstorm and your main truck transmission goes out, that's enough to push you to the breaking point. That's enough to test your sanity a little bit, okay? Things like that are just, it's stressful. And so, like I said, sanity, that's going to be a sacrifice. It shouldn't be like that all the time. So now we are going to talk about our number 5 sacrifice, which is friends. So number 1, when you own your own business or you're an entrepreneur, however you want to call it, you will most likely have less time for your friends. If you don't, you're probably doing something wrong, honestly. Because you're going to be working a lot. You want to be working on your business. You want to be working on how to make money. You want to be working on how to grow. You want to be working on learning everything you can. So you're going to have less time for your friends. And honestly, if your friends are not entrepreneurs themselves, they aren't going to understand why at 10:30 p.m. you're working on your business at home. And they aren't going to understand why on a Saturday night you want to stay home and work on your business instead of going out to the bar or wherever it is that you go with your friends. So you may find that you and your friends grow apart. You may find that you have to cut some friends out because they just don't offer any value to your life anymore. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just, that's the way it is, right? If you don't have a lot in common and, you're heading one way and they're stuck, stagnant, or they're heading another way, there's not really a point to hanging out or being friends. You are friends because of what you support and value you can offer to each other. And if if your friends can't support you or offer you any value or grow with you, then, they're kind of becoming dead weight. So you may find that you cut some of them out of your life. You may just naturally drift apart. And so, because you want to be constantly growing and learning. And as Uncle G says, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So you want to be leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. So those were the 5 sacrifices of owning a business or being an entrepreneur. And those were freedom, time with family, attention from husband, sanity, and friends. So I'm going to sign off for today, and I will see you guys in my next video, which is going to be about my 10x journey. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like, subscribe if you're interested in this topic, and also if you own a business or an entrepreneur and you would like to let me know what you think another sacrifice is, or what's a sacrifice that you have experienced in being an entrepreneur, please leave a comment below. Thank you.